But what comes with that real-time redemption? It's the full measurability of the journey. This is the bit that's exciting our retail partners. We're working with about 20 retailers at the moment. And I think for what we're also seeing for the consumer is a slightly different level of engagement. I think that would have been a common theme during today's presentation, is mobile being very much a high engagement device, and the same is true when it comes down to coupon and offer redemption, in that a study recently out of the States said there was a 10x increase in redemption level by the use of mobile couponing. We ourselves, certainly on a recent test campaign, saw something which Juniper predicting as well as being the standard, which is an 8x increase in redemption level. So something to account for, because that it's not always what you want, a high redemption level, but actually it is something that once you know what you're getting, you can manage your marketing to that higher level of engagement. Now, I could talk about the last one for a long time. I mentioned that we talked to a lot of our retailers about what they're doing currently with us, which is the early days, and where they're heading with this connectivity, if you like. Because let's take that SMS route or the email that you might have captured. You've got a little bit of information. You've got a little bit of knowledge about response to an offer. And so you might, for example, be able to capture, talking about this at lunchtime actually with a client, the idea that you could put a broad-based offer, maybe a 2-for-1 pizza offer out into the marketplace, but because you can track the basket information on that redemption now, you can see that maybe either a child was present or actually it was vegetarian, so you don't have to go back with the same costly marketing offer. You can actually go back with something which is more tailored for the consumer. And all of this is really achievable without having to invest in massive CRM infrastructure. So for the next section, I just wanted to really show you 3 examples of the type of digital redemption that I talked about in that pyramid diagram. Here is something where we work with a company called Wrap, who've got a funky little app that you can see in Facebook, which enables gifting. It also enables marketeers to seed offers. So maybe, I think in Oasis' example, there was a £5 voucher seeded out through Facebook. But what it meant for Oasis is that they were able to track that offer going out into a very viral environment, being able to then track it all the way through to point of sale. And this is early days for Wrap as well, and what they're saying is that there's a lot of value wrapped around it, in the, let's take that example of the £5 voucher. Typically, that'll get close to 100 page impressions when that's posted on Facebook. You'll get about 20% of folks saying they like it, and 20% actually redeeming. So there's a lot of additional engagement around that capability, but also the traceability to add additional value. So that's an example of if you like, tracking it through one technology, which is the keyed entry. This one is a US example, and I don't know if you're familiar with this, but Starbucks have got an app out in the marketplace which has had tremendous success, and so you can see that in 1 year, 26 million transactions, revenues increased by 16%, and a massive membership of 3.7 million. And essentially what they're doing is they're using the scanning technology at point of sale, and they're doing that for both payments, but also to be able to pick up on the customer visits to the store in their Star loyalty program, so that they can reward that over a period of time. So a good example of not just the, if you like, the mobile device, the connectivity, the digital redemption, but actually also that loyalty component. And you see that also with the McDonald's example. I don't know if you recall, but in Clive's presentation earlier today, I kind of shouted out and said, actually, you know, in Denmark, they were just using a show and go, which is a really good way of demonstrating kind of the kind of nearly there redemption moment. Whereas here, what you've got is consumers with their McDonald's app able to tap to redeem coupons. They're able to actually order before they enter the McDonald's outlet even, and pay using their device. So in this instance, it's using the NFC technology. And I think that, you know, here for the UK, that we will see consumer behaviour going in that direction. I think you've already had a lot of presentation today on NFC, so I'm not going to kind of ram it home any more than that, but I think that that's an important aspect of behaviour that you can expect to come. And on behaviour, again, I think you'll have had all this during the day, so I'm really not going to labour the point that mobile is changing the way that consumers are behaving in the retail environment. You're using it regularly, it's enhancing the experience, and actually what it does seem to be is that, you know, when the studies are out there, that 75% of consumers say they would switch if they received an offer at that relevant moment. Well, that's both an opportunity and a bit scary, particularly in the retail context, because you know, in theory, it's going to be too easy to switch a customer out of that moment. And I think that this is the challenge, is really for retailers to be able, particularly those that have got that capability to track all the way through, to be able to bring that consumer through to the point of sale with that offer in an affordable way. Okay, so that's a really quick trot through, in effect, of what's happening, what people have been doing with digital redemption, if you like, is the theme here. Google, what I would like to do is just sort of develop one or two of those into themes that you will be becoming increasingly familiar with. And so I touched on it just now, that idea of having an understanding of what's happening at that moment when the purchase is made is going to become increasingly critical in the connected world. And Google, and of course I love them, they bought the last company I worked for, and I worked for them for a while, so they're great folk, and they have this great idea of the zero moment of truth. And I think there's a lot in this. There's a lot of understanding that we can have as marketeers in that moment of truth, and benefit both the consumer and our businesses with it. One of the other things that I think is an inevitable consequence of this this change is actually a change in the way that digital media is thought of in terms of the overall marketing plan. Because if you look at the FMCG brands, they kind of underspend in the digital environment right now. If you look at their overall spend of 1.8% in digital versus overall, versus the average of over 15%. And it's kind of no wonder, because in a way it's kind of out there in the way that we've already seen, without being able to make that connection. But now that connectability is coming, then that's going to change, and we'll expect to see an increasing part of the spend in digital, and the brands that normally spend a lot on sales promotion moving in this direction, and we know that that's already happening. I think Clive was talking about Coke and other brands really getting wise to it.